Take a look at this. It says, and this is from the same article, the sharp increase to Canada's inflation rate in 2022, check this out, exceeded wage gains. It means that inflation went higher than what people were getting as raises. What's the average raise that someone gets at their company? Maybe 2%, 3%, right? And that was to match inflation. So if the person got a 3% raise, they actually lost money because inflation exceeded the wage gains. You know, I heard it said once that 85% of self-made millionaires, they read 2 or more books per month. Okay, and I'm not talking about leisurely reading, although you can read leisurely books. There's nothing wrong with leisurely books, but what I'm talking about is successful people. They read books that encourage self-improvement. And the question that I have for you is, how many books per year do you read? All right, Jim Rohn says, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. All right. He also says discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. All right. So I want you to have a plan what you're going to do to get your life on track. Hope you guys are fired up and excited. Welcome to another Money Monday. And here we are. Another Monday, we are going to talk about the 4 rules of money, all right? So you see there on the screen, every Monday, we get together and the topic is money. And the 4 rules, the first rule is making money, all right? And this seems like an obvious one, but it's often overlooked. And one of the best ways to make more money is to invest in yourself. And we're going to be talking a lot about that today. And the second rule is to save money, save more money. All right. And it's critical. It's critical for you to save more money in order to become financially independent. And number 3 is to grow your money. All right. And this involves investing in the right financial products over the right amount of time and making sure that you manage your risk. And then the fourth rule is to protect your money. All right. And that means making sure you have a safety net in place. Make sure you protect your family, yourself, protect from any financial disasters. So in conclusion, every Monday we get together and we talk about the 4 rules of money: making more money, saving more money, growing your money, protecting your money. All right. These are essential in order for you to achieve financial independence, in order for you to achieve financial freedom, in order for you to achieve financial success. All right. So if you follow these 4 principles, you're going to take control of your finances. You're going to build a secure and prosperous future. So with that said, welcome to Money Monday. And if you, as good as it is here, there's still a lot of doom and gloom on the outside, right? There's still a lot of craziness that's happening on the outside. There's a lot of layoffs. There's a lot of debt. Taxes are going crazy. Inflation is going crazy. People are struggling when it comes to income. I want to tell you, it's not that bright on the outside in the real world. I'm going to play another video. This is a study done by the Bank of Montreal. It's a very, how can I say, trusted study that's done every year. And they're talking about what it takes to retire. You know, the number used to be $1.4 million for someone to retire. We used to say $1 million, then it went to 1.4 million. Check what the new amount is for someone to retire in Canada. All right, let me let that play.
Let's pivot over to retirement. Everyone's sort of that coveted 60 to 65 age group, but it looks like it's going to cost a lot more to retire these days.
That's right. That's at least what respondents in a well-respected survey of retirement intentions indicates. Bank of Montreal conducts this survey every year, and the most recent survey results indicate that respondents believe that they will need to save $1.7 million to be able to retire in the way that they would like. And that's significantly more, Angie, than the $1.4 million that the survey resulted in, or the answer from the survey 2 years ago in 2020. Inflation is the likely culprit. Everybody's worried about rising prices, and it seems that people who are getting closer to retirement are now worried about the effect of rising prices on the amount of money that they're going to have to save to be able to afford retirement. And also, some 44% of respondents doubted that they would have enough to retire as planned.
Well,
so it's a real problem, right? I want you to know it's a real problem what's happening. Take a look at this. It says, and this is from the same article, the sharp increase to Canada's inflation rate in 2022, check this out, exceeded wage gains. It means that inflation went higher than what people were getting as raises. What's the average raise that someone gets at their company? Maybe 2%, 3%, right? And that was to match inflation. So if the person got a 3% raise, they actually lost money because inflation exceeded the wage gains. If inflation is hovering between 6 and 8%, right? It's bouncing around between 6 and 8%. If the person got 3% wage gain, it erased it, right? So the sharp increase to Canada's inflation rate in 2022 exceeded wage gain, eroding purchasing power for most families, and heightened fears about the future. People are getting worried and more worried about their retirement. Why is that the case, though? Let's continue and see. Let's do a little bit of analysis, shall we? All right, are you guys ready? All right, let me know you're still here with me. Give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're still here with me. Let's jump right into it. Awesome. Let's jump into it. So I want to give you a fictional character. Awesome. Great. Awesome. There we go. I want to give you two fictional characters. Their story is real. I would change their name. Okay. Sarah and Tom. Okay. They're a married couple. They're in their mid-30s. Sarah works as a nurse. Tom works as a software developer. And they have a comfortable life. I want you to know their life is very, very comfortable. They live in a nice house. They have 2 young children. Like most people, though, Sarah and Tom, they're concerned about their retirement. And they want to ensure that they have enough money that they're going to live comfortably in what we call the golden years, okay? So if they retire, if they want to retire at age 65, let's say, they're right now in their mid-30s, they're 35, okay? That means they have 30 years to go, all right? They have 30 years that they need to plan until retirement, to age 65. Now, if we do some typical math, right? Let's say that they lived life expectancy, we don't know, right? But let's say it's 85. Let's say life expectancy for them is 85 years old. That means they have 20 years in what we call their golden years, okay? In their golden years. So 20 years is what they need to plan for. They have 30 years to plan for these 20 years. But here's the thing. There's going to be some challenges that they're going to face when they're trying to save enough money for retirement. Now, I want you to understand a couple of things here. Remember, they said that you need $1.7 million in retirement, okay? $1.7 million. That means if you divide that by the 20 years, they need $85,000 a year. That's their retirement, right? Now we're putting numbers on it, right? That also means they need $7,083 a month. Okay? That's what they need to generate. They need something that's going to generate $7,000 a month, according to that BMO survey, right? They need $7,000 a month by the time they're age 65. Now, if they want to do it the traditional way of saving money, they need to save $1.7 million by the time that they're age 65. Let me tell you some of the challenges that this couple is facing, okay? So number one, the first challenge that they're facing is balancing their short-term and long-term financial goals. You see, Sarah and Tom, they have several short-term goals, right? They want to pay off their mortgage, for example. That's a short-term goal of theirs. You know, they want to save for their kids' education. They also want to take a vacation, all right? And these goals are important. But here's the problem that they and a lot of Canadians are facing. Those short-term goals are also competing with their long-term goals for saving for retirement. So it's having some conflict, right? The short-term goals is competing with the long-term goals. What should we save for? Should we save for the short term? Should we save for the long term? How can we do both? And it gets very overwhelming. Here's what they need to do. To overcome this challenge, Sarah and Tom, they need to prioritize their goals. First and foremost, they need to prioritize. They got to focus on paying off the high interest debt first. Many times, I will sit with a family, and one of the things, or one of our agents will sit with a family, and one of the things that we see oftentimes is they'll have let's say a $2,000 or a $5,000 credit card. What are they paying in interest on that credit card? 18% minimum, right? But they'll also have $5,000 in a tax-free savings account. How much are they getting on their tax-free savings account from the bank? Let's say they're getting 1% or 2%, right? It makes 0 sense for that person to be paying 18% on a credit card, but gaining 2% on the TFSA. $5,000 credit card, $5,000 TFSA. It makes sense for them to withdraw that $5,000 and pay off the entire credit card. I asked, I said, why are you keeping this $5,000 in the TFSA? Just curious. Oh, I'm keeping it because it makes me feel like I have some money. But you know, I'm sorry I have to be the bearer of bad news, but you don't really have money because you're earning 2% over here, but you're paying 18% over here. Logically, you're losing 16% compound interest, right? You're losing money. So they need to make sure that they pay off those credit cards, pay off all of those high interest balances before they start putting that money towards certain goals like vacation and things like that, right? And then they can allocate some of that money, some of that extra income, because they paid off towards that credit card, for example. They can put that money, larger portions now, towards their short-term goals, and also more towards their retirement savings. So it's prioritizing, making sure that you have an idea of what should be done first. Do the first things first, right? The second challenge that they have is managing the debt. And we talked about that, right? They have the mortgage, they have the car loan, they have a student loan. They are paying their debts. Don't get me wrong. They are paying their debts. But I want to tell you, if you're paying the minimum payment on the debt, it's never going to go down, right? And Sarah and Tom, they didn't understand that if they just paid the minimum payment, they're just making the banks rich, right? They're just making everybody else rich. So the key is to make sure that they balance and prioritize, and write this down. Pay off high interest debt first. Which debt should you pay off? If you have multiple debts, always pay off the highest interest debt first. And also, they can look at refinancing if they need to refinance. We have many situations where we refinanced the couple's home, right, and brought down their debt load, really brought it down, and increased their monthly cash flow, because all of their monthly cash flow was going towards interest. It wasn't bringing the debt down. And this makes the banks very happy, okay? It makes everybody happy, but the person paying all of the interest. You know, I say this in our financial literacy webinar. Every single time I say it, I make a point to say it, that the people that understand interest, they earn it. And the people that don't understand interest, they pay it. And the quickest way to see which side you fall on is take a blank piece of paper, right? Take a blank piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, all right? And on one side, you list all of the interest that you're paying. So credit card, car loan, mortgage, all those interests, you list them all on one side and you're going to total it up. All right. Take a period of time, like a month, 3 months, whatever. Okay. And then on the other side, you're going to list all of the interest that you're earning, right? What's paying you interest, dividends, maybe your investments, whatever you're invested in. How much interest is that paying you? List all of the interest that you're earning, list all the interest that you're paying, and you will see if you're earning interest or you're paying interest. And you will also see if you understand interest. Because if you're paying more than you're earning, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, it means you don't yet understand the principle. Remember, knowledge is not power. People challenge me. They say, Jermaine, no, I understand it. No. It's not understanding if you're not doing it. Knowledge is only power if you apply it, right? If you're using the knowledge. So it's very important. A lot of people don't like when I say that, but it's the truth. And I like to give it real, right? And Sarah and Tom is one of those couples I had to be real with. All right. Then the third challenge is making smart investment decisions. Now, I'm not going to give you investment advice here on this webinar, but I want to tell you that Sarah and Tom, they're not investment experts. Got it? They're not investment experts. They're not sure how they should invest for their retirement savings. They have no clue. Remember, Sarah is a nurse. Tom is a software developer, and they want to make sure that their investments are growing, but they also want to make sure they don't lose money. Who should they listen to? Right? They'll say something like, I'm thinking about putting money in our RSPs. Okay, great. Why are you thinking about putting money in RSPs? Oh, my neighbor is doing it and they said it would be a good idea. Oh, really? Is your neighbor a financial professional? No. What does your neighbor do? Oh, my neighbor is a nurse just like me. Oh, really? So do you think, the blind should be leading the blind? Right? The blind shouldn't be leading the blind. Listen, if I want to get my tooth fixed, I don't go to my neighbor. I go get professional advice, right? I get someone that has a license. They know what they're talking about, right? I want to make sure that people get this clear, because a lot of society today just take other people's word for it. Yeah, it's good to trust your neighbor, right? But you wouldn't let your neighbor do brain surgery or open heart surgery on you or fix your tooth. You would go to the professionals. Why not do that with the most important thing, which is your finances as well, right? So Sarah and Tom, they need to either A, educate themselves, or B, go and get a professional. I like when people educate themselves. I'm going to be honest with you. Why do I like when people educate themselves? Who is the person that cares more about Sarah and Tom's family? Sarah and Tom. They just don't know what to do. But if they knew what to do, who would make the best decisions for them? Sarah and Tom would, right? So it's very important. So these are the three challenges that they need to overcome in order to get there, right? They need to overcome balancing their short-term and long-term financial goals. They need to manage their debt, and they need to make smart investment decisions. But here's the deal. Sarah and Tom needs to do a full analysis of where they're at and what they need to do in order to become successful. They need to sit with the right person in order to become successful, and which they're doing, by the way, which they're doing. So I want to move on. I want to move on to something really exciting. I hope you're excited. We want to give away $50. Okay? We want to give away $50 to one lucky person that's on this call. This raffle, it's a raffle, okay? It's a raffle. And very shortly, we're going to put the link. But here's the deal. We want to invest in your future. All right. So we want to give $50, an Amazon gift card, and anyone on this call is able to win it. How do you win it? Click on the link, It's going to open up. It's going to ask you for your email address. You put your email address. We're using a third-party website called Appy Rewards. And what will happen is it's randomly going to pick and select one of you, and it will email you a $50 Amazon gift card. Is that exciting or what? Who wants to win that Amazon $50 gift card? So you have until 8:50 to put your email address in and win that. Everyone on this call is entitled to win. Is that exciting? Whether you're a guest here for the first time, which we welcome you and we appreciate you for being here, or you're here for a long time, you're a long-time member, you're also able to or eligible to jump into there. So the link is in there. Thank you so much, Lloyd. Lloyd posted the link inside the chat box. Click on that link, put in your email address. The raffle closes at 8:50, and once it closes, all right? And I'll tell you the purpose of this afterwards. Jim Rohn says it very nicely. He says, reading is essential for those who seek to rise above ordinary. How many of you on this call seek to rise above ordinary? He says, we must not permit anything to stand between us and the book that could change our lives. Change our lives. Okay. I see there, I heard it said once that 85% of self-made millionaires, they read 2 or more books per month. Okay. And I'm not talking about leisurely reading, although you can read leisurely books. There's nothing wrong with leisurely books. But what I'm talking about is successful people. They read books that encourage self-improvement. And the question that I have for you is, how many books per year do you read? If you were going to measure from let's say 2022, how many books did you read in 2022? How many books have you read already in 2023? Right? Personal growth books, personal improvement books, personal development books I'm talking about, not Harry Potter, all right, not any of those, fiction character books, right? Lord of the Rings or any of those popular, but I'm not talking about that, all right? I'm talking about, those books that are going to improve you and give you the skills in order to become successful, all right? So I want to give you 5 benefits why you should be on a self-improvement plan for reading books, okay? Number 1 is it broadens your knowledge and understanding. You see, when you read books on diverse topics, it helps you to broaden your knowledge. It helps you to understand the world. It helps you to improve your critical thinking. It helps you to make better decisions, right? When you read a book, I want you to understand that author also becomes like a mentor of yours, right? Many times you say, well, how do you get mentored by somebody like Napoleon Hill? You read his books, right? You read his books. Number 2, you're going to develop new skills. You see, when you read book on new subjects, it helps you to develop new skills, new insights, right? New ideas. This is what's going to help you towards your goal. Maybe you're one idea away from your next goal, one idea away from your next target, right? Where can you get that? Maybe you're going to find it in a book. And then you can apply these principles, apply these skills, apply these insights to your personal life. And then your life will get better and better and better. Number 3, it improves your concentration. It's a fact, right? Regular reading improves your concentration. It improves your focus. It improves how you concentrate. And this is going to have a positive impact on also other areas of your life, right? Number 4, it enhances creativity. Reading enhances your creativity. It enhances your imagination. It helps you to come up with new ideas, new solutions, new ways of tackling a problem, right? Number 5, it reduces stress. Reading is a great way, believe it or not, to reduce stress. If you're stressed out, read, all right? Read a personal development book if you're stressed out. It improves your mental health and it improves your overall well-being. Like I said, this guy here, Bill Gates, reads over 50 books per year. 50 books. In fact, when he goes on vacation, he travels around with a tote full of books. You know, someone said, yeah, but Jermaine, he's wealthy. He can spend time reading all those books. Let me tell you, he was reading those books in order to get wealthy. He was reading those 50 books a year before he got wealthy, right? So it's important, right? I'm going to give you 10 great books for success. Get your cameras out or your notebooks. These are 10 books that you ought to read. You said, Jermaine, you know, I haven't read any books last year. I haven't read any books this year. All right, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You know, like in the Catholics, they do the you know, in the name of the Father, and forgive yourself. All right, but the past is the past. Now you're gonna go forward, focus on the future, and forgive yourself. Here's 10 books that you ought to have on your shelf. All right, I've read these, so I'm going to talk from experience. First one on the screen, Think and Grow Rich. This is a book that's going to give you insights on how to accumulate wealth and live a successful life. It's a must-read book for an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur or thinking about being an entrepreneur, you must read, not should, you must read that. This is a must-read for an entrepreneur, all right? The next one, The Magic of Thinking Big. Magic of Thinking Big. This is a book that encouraged people to set big goals and think bigger. One of the challenges that I had was I was thinking too small. All the goals that I set, I was achieving them. Then I learned, okay, I can set bigger goals and achieve those goals, right? The challenge that a majority of people have is they think too small. And this book is a great way to help people overcome that. The third one is 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class by Steve Siebold. This is a favorite book of mine. I read this book every single year. Every year I reread this book. It's a guidebook on how to develop mental toughness so that you can achieve success in the different parts of your life. The challenge most people have is they don't have the mental toughness, if you will. So challenges arise or something comes up and they quit on their goals. And this book does a wonderful job of showing you how to overcome those hurdles and how to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind for success. The fourth one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a classic book that's recommended, I think, by every single entrepreneur. You know, it teaches how to interact with people. If you're in a people business where you talk to other people, which I think 99.9% of businesses are talking to other people, and you want to be able to make a positive impression and improve your interpersonal skills, this is the go-to book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Don't read the other book. There's the opposite book, right? How to Lose Friends and Repel People. Okay, don't read that book. That's the opposite book. This is the wrong book. This won't help you in business. Read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Very powerful. Number five, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. This is a book by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. This is a self-help book that really dives into the importance of positive self-talk, how you can improve your mindset for success. You know, are you aware that you're talking to yourself throughout the day, right? That little voice that's in your mind that tells you do this, do that. Right now I'm talking to you. That little voice is also talking to you. I'm competing with your little voice, right? The little voice in our heads is always telling us, do this, don't do this, go there, be afraid of this, don't be afraid of that. And it's always talking. It's our mind. But most people don't know how to control that little voice. They don't know how to get it to say what it should say. So it just speaks on autopilot. It says whatever it wants to say, right? And most of the time people think it's them that's saying those things, really, when it's not. It's programs that we have had our entire life. Some people are operating on the programs that they developed when they're 7 years old, 8 years old. It's funny, my wife and I, we were watching a documentary, and it was a grown lady. She was, I don't know, in her 40s, and she was complaining about getting a parking ticket. And my wife commented, she said, she sounds like a 7-year-old. She really sounds like a 7-year-old the way that she's communicating. And this is a fact. Many people, they haven't grown out of those habits when they were younger, and they bring those programming to when they're adults and they still operate. This book shows you how to change that so that you're operating for success. Number 7, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Number 6, sorry. I see Every said, are these books has audio? Yes, Every. I think pretty much all of them has the audio. They're on Audible. Yes. I have many of them on Audible and the full copy, right? So yes, I would say yes. Take a picture, screenshot it, and you'll be able to find the majority of them, if not all of them, in Audible. Number 6, How I Raised Myself from Failing to Success in Selling. All right, this is a powerful, powerful book. All right, I got into sales and I wanted to learn how to get into sales. What does successful salespeople do? And this is a personal story of how the author became a successful salesman and how others can follow the principle, all right, and do the same things. All right, so this is a powerful, powerful book as well. Number 7 is The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is a financial education book. You know, every single meeting on our financial webinars, I talk about the concepts from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the financial concepts, because Robert Kiyosaki is very big on financial literacy and how to build wealth through investing and making sure you're in the right quadrant, right? If you ever heard about the cash flow quadrant, it comes from that book. This is a powerful, powerful book. I got to tell you, this one book here altered my life forever. I'm trying to say it without exaggerating. If I had to tell you which book really opened up my eyes to where I am today, it would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a very, very powerful book. Number 8, 5 Levels of Leadership. This is by John Maxwell. This is a leadership book. I want to just tell you, leadership doesn't only mean you're leading people. Leadership also has to do with ourselves, being able to lead ourselves. I want to tell you, the first person that you lead is yourself. If you find it difficult to lead people outside of you, start working with you. All right. Leadership is the most important skill that you can develop as an entrepreneur. All right. And this book is written by John Maxwell. Anything that John writes about leadership, I read it, right? He has many other books, but this is one of the most impactful books that I have read from John Maxwell, The 5 Levels of Leadership. So this book, it outlines the 5 levels that are in leadership, and it teaches you how to improve on each level, how to improve your leadership skills, and how you can make an impact on both your personal life and both your professional life. By the way, all of these books helped me in my personal life just as much as they did in my business life. So I want to tell you, it's not one or the other. Number nine. This is a book by Norman Vincent Peale. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking. All right. Many of us don't know how negative we are. We don't know. We speak in the negative term, but we think we're being positive. You know, many times I'll hear someone that they'll say, they think positive about money, but they'll say stuff like, I'm broke. That is such a negative term, right? That is what's going to happen if the person keeps saying that. Just as they keep thinking that, that's exactly what happens. The person ends up being broke, right? And it's understanding how to think positively and shift it. So this book emphasizes the power of positive thinking and how it can improve your overall quality of life, not just business, but also in your personal life. And the last one, which is very powerful, is The Power of Habit. And The Power of Habit is very powerful because this book, it explores the science behind the habits and how to form new habits, how to break bad habits, and how to create that lasting change. You know, you have habits you don't even know you have. When you walk into the shower, I'm not going to be overly explicit here or very visual. I'm not going to give any visuals here, but when you walk into the shower, all right, I bet you start the same time every single time. When you brush your teeth, you start on the same side every time, right? You know, maybe you get in the shower, you start with this armpit or whatever it is. You start with the same area every single time. When you're drying off with the towel, you dry off with the same side every time. You do things habitually. This book teaches you how to turn your habits into success habits. Why? Because your habits you don't need to think about. What if all your habits were success, or the majority of your habits were success-driven habits, where success then was on autopilot? You didn't have to think about it. Make sense? This book teaches you how to do it, and it does a great, great job. All right, so these are 10 books that is going to help you to become successful. All right, and all right. So hopefully you were able to put your email address into that link, and one of you is going to win a $50 gift card to Amazon. And hopefully you're going to go on there and you're going to buy a book that's going to change your life. All right, Jim, right? So hopefully you were able to put your email address into that link. And one of you is going to win a $50 gift card to Amazon. And hopefully you're going to go on there and you're going to buy a book that's going to change your life. All right, Jim. All right, Jim Rohn says formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. All right. He also says discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. All right. So I want you to have a plan what you're going to do to get your life on track. I want to end with this story about gratitude and why I'm so grateful for what we do each and every single day. My wife sent me to go do some shopping, okay? And so I always tell her, if it's over 2 items, please send me a message, because sometimes she'll call me, right? She'll say, Jermaine, where are you? Oh, I'm such and such, right? I'm on the 407, you know, exiting on Dundas, let's say, right? Whatever, right? And she'll say, okay, can you stop off? Pick me up some milk, some eggs, some onions, some cheese, some bread. And she's listing all these things on the phone. I'm like, hey, I only can remember 2 items on the shopping list. If it's over 2 items, please give me a list, right? So she texts me the list. All right. I stop off at the store. I go in. I huddle through the line, the areas, grab all the stuff, right? From the shelves. You can tell I'm not a shopper, right? It's a chore for me. So I get in there, right? I pick up all the stuff, and there's this man in the line. He's literally putting his stuff on the conveyor belt, and he says, you can go ahead of me. And I'm thinking, but you've already started. He's like, no, please, I insist, please go ahead of me. So no problem. I took my stuff and went around him. Even though we had similar amount of things, I put them there on the conveyor belt. And, the cashier's checking, I used my debit card, I paid, and then I left, right? I went out to the car. Now, my wife, sometimes she has these moments where she will remember things halfway through. Have that ever happened to you, right? So she remembers the thing when I'm sitting in the car, okay, about to drive. She's very smart with it too. She's like, Jermaine, did you leave the store yet? Yes, I'm sitting in the car. And she's like, oh, I forgot one thing. What did you forget, babe? I forgot the yogurt. Okay, no problem, babe. Right? So I jump out the car, run back into the store, going, where's the damn yogurt, man? Where's the damn yogurt? I only need 1 item. Where's the yogurt? I get very impatient, right? So I'm finding the yogurt, looking for the yogurt, found the yogurt. I get back to the line. Who do I see in the line? It's that same gentleman, right? But now he has his wife with him, and he has 2 kids, and he's paying, or they're paying for their groceries. And they're trying one card, doesn't work. They're trying another card, doesn't work. They try another card, it doesn't work. They tried about 4 or 5 different cards. Then finally, you can see the husband's getting a little bit embarrassed and nervous and agitated. He's looking around, and he says, okay, let's put a portion on this one, and let's put another portion on that one. And they pieced together this transaction with 3 different credit cards. And I'm watching this from the distance, right? And I'm saying, wow. I want you to understand, you are blessed beyond measure. When I left that store, I was overwhelmed with gratitude because I know that there are people out there, as good as we have it in here, many people out there are struggling. Many people out there are hurting. They're hurting. And we have the opportunity. We have it right here where we can change people's lives. I want to tell you, you're in the right place. Don't ever doubt it. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. I'm talking to you, right? If you can see me, I'm looking in the camera. I'm looking right at you. I'm talking to you right now. You're here for a reason. I want you to understand. You are here to do something great. You're here to do something special with your life. Don't let silly people talk you out of your goals and your dreams. I remember when I was first starting, someone would try to talk me out of what I'm doing, talk me out of helping families, talk me out of putting people in a better financial path. Someone would try to talk me out of it. Such selfishness, they would try to talk me out of it. But I realized we're here for a reason. We're here for a purpose. Don't ever let someone talk you out of your goals and your dreams. And every day, you got to be thankful that you're here. Every day, give gratitude. God bless you. Have yourself an amazing night, and congratulations to the winner of the card. We'll announce the winner next week. All right, on the next meeting, we're going to announce the winner. So if you won, please show back up. All right. God bless you. Have yourself an amazing, amazing night, and we'll see you next Money Monday. God bless. Hey, thank you so much for watching another Money Monday. We hope that you got value from today's content. And if you did, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And like always, inspire change.